What's this?
Ethmoid sinus?
The other one. Sphenoid sinus. Okay. Primarily because, what's that right there?
Auditory.
What's that?
Pituitary gland?
Pituitary gland. That sits in what?
Crystal
The
yeah, crystal galley.
Cella turcica.
Oh,
turcica.
right.
Okay, that's the cella turcica right there, which is a portion of which bone?
Sphenoid.
Sphenoid. Okay. What's this? Corpus callosum. What's this? Fornix. What's that membrane that you see there? Septum pellucidum. Now once again, if that's the septum, remember that what? The lateral ventricles are on either side. So there's a lateral ventricle behind that, but because this is a sagittal cut, it's on this side. Okay, so the diencephalon. Okay, and you saw it. You should have seen this in the sheep brain. We tried to point it out because it's fairly obvious. Okay, the round structure is the thalamus. Okay, you should have seen that in the sheep brain when we did the sagittal cut. Okay. Now, what's below the fornix and above the thalamus right there? Third ventricle. Down here's the fourth ventricle between the brainstem and the cerebellum. Okay. Now, okay, so this is the pituitary, that's the thalamus. Okay, and you've got to use your landmarks here, okay? If that's the thalamus and that's the pituitary, what's in between?
Hypothalamus.
The hypothalamus. Okay, and then what sits right there? The pineal gland. Okay. Now, if you look, okay, so this area of the brain that's right here is what we call the diencephalon. So the diencephalon is made up of the thalamus, hypothalamus, pituitary gland,
and pineal. Pineal
gland.
Pineal gland. Epithalamus?
Right. Okay.
Pineal's behind.
Pineal or epithalamus, same deal. All right. Now, so notice where the thalamus sits. As ascending tracts come up, right, it's right in line. So that when ascending tracts come up, sensory information comes in, what does the thalamus do? Spread that information to the cortex where it needs to go. Now notice that that's the thalamus and this is the pituitary gland, okay? In there's the hypothalamus. Now we use the third landmark to find the hypothalamus that I don't see right off. What was the third landmark? The optic-chiasm. So the hypothalamus was what? Below the thalamus, above the pituitary gland, and posterior to the optic-chiasm. Okay? Now, because of its location, okay, what does your pituitary gland do? It's a portion of the endocrine system. Okay? Now, for right now, we're going to wait till we get to chapter 18 to discuss the finer points of the pituitary gland. But the pituitary gland is a gland that's made up of two types of tissue. True glandular tissue, as we talked about, does what? The endocrine system controls and regulates some body activities. What does the nervous system do? Controls and regulates some body activities. So consequently, there has to be an integration between those two. The integration between the nervous and the endocrine system is in the hypothalamus. okay? And that's why, that's one of them structure function things. So that if you look, if we go back now to the notes.